Hi, and a very, very warm good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Annie Kidwai, and I'm from Vertex, the solution of every need. I'm the founder and director. What is today's session is all about? This is a different video. It's not for the students, it's not for my learners, but it's for my fellow educators who are serving in the field of education. I received some questions about how to make the classrooms more effective and interactive for the students, both online and offline, by my fellow educators. So this video I'm specifically recording for the teachers so that we all can bring beautiful changes in the life of the students and make our classes more successful so that students can have a bright future ahead. So it's very important, first of all, to understand when we talk about making the classrooms more interactive and effective. So how to do that? How to make the classrooms more interactive? Firstly, because nowadays we are hit by a pandemic COVID-19 and we all are taking online classes. So on high demand, I am recording this video. So I'll begin the session that how we can make our classes more interactive online. We need to understand one thing when we are taking online classes. The very important thing is that we must be tech savvy. We must be aware about technology. We must be aware about how to operate and handle technology well. So of course, knowledge is very important, right? If you have never took any online class earlier, you have never worked in that kind of a scenario, so do research about it. Researching is extremely important to understand the concept. When we did the research, when we have the knowledge and we know the operations of the technology to implement online classes, it's important to understand the age group. That means what age group your learners, your students belongs to. Are they very young learners? Are they 4 years old, 5 years old, or 6 years old? Are they adult learners, 25, 30, 40, maybe 45 years old? I taught students from the age of 6 up to 50 years. Trust me, in my experience, I'm sharing the same with you all. So understanding the age group of the learner, what does this term or statement means, understanding the age group? It means you understand the psychology. So understanding the psychology of the learner before implementing any kind of a theory on the learner is very important. Understand the requirements and the need of the learner, whether you are sitting online, whether you are in an offline classroom. Understanding your student is very important. So understand the requirement of the learner. For example, or for instance, if we talk about a student of grade 3 or grade 4, the requirement and the need of a grade 3 or a grade 4 student is very different than the requirement of a grade 11 or a grade 12 or maybe higher education students, MBA or MCA, MSc, etc. Right? So what is the difference between that? Age is the difference, understanding level is the difference, operations level is different. So specifically, I'm starting with the young learners here. When your learner is very young, how to handle young learners online. When we are sitting in an online classrooms, I assume that the teachers who are conducting online classrooms for the young learners are tech savvy. they already know the technology, they have done the research about it, they have all the knowledge about a particular topic. For example, if you are teaching, let's say, verbs to young learners, you have in-depth knowledge about the particular topic you're going to teach to the student. Because when you're teaching, when you are in a classroom, you don't know what question can pop up, right? We must encourage the students to ask questions. And the curiosity level of young learners is much higher than the curiosity level, of older learners. So the more curious a student is, the more question a student is asked. So encourage your learners to ask questions. Give them instructions. How give them a minute instructions to young learners of grade 3 4. Nowadays everybody is able to handle technology, of course, with the concern of the parent. So give them multiple instructions to be attentive in your classroom. Number 2, the most important aspect of teaching online or offline is the content you develop in your classroom. So content development is an extremely important prodigy to learn, specifically for the educators in 21st century education system. Content development is extremely important prodigy that you must start inculcating in yourself. When you understand the psychology of your age, of the age group of the learner, you are able to develop the right set of content. For example, when we see, young learners, they are, they like, bright colors. They are more inclined towards their comic book characters or their cartoon characters. So inculcating a cartoon character or a comic book character into the world of study makes them more friendly and makes them more happy. It's important that your learner should be happy. Happy not in the sense that he must be giggling, he must be smiling, he must be cracking jokes, or you start cracking jokes with the learner. It's important that what you are teaching, he is able to grasp it. When he is able to grasp it, he will be able to answer the questions. When he'll be able to answer the questions, his confidence or her confidence level will be boosted. Eventually, during your classroom, during your lecture, during your teaching period, the learner feels more happy, mentally healthy. So it's important the content that you develop should be positive and should make a learner mentally healthy. It should not stress the student. What does it mean? Mentally healthy terminology is very important. If you make the learn, if suppose I would say there is a sum 2 plus 2 equals to 4. And when we say that 2 plus 2 equals to 4, the learner will ask you why 2 plus 2 is equals to 4. Why it's not 5, why it's not 6, why it's not 7. You cannot reply the learner in a way where he or she may get disappointed by asking such question. You will say, no, see, it's just like that. 2 plus 2 is equals to 4. But you must be well researched. You must have good knowledge to explain your learner why 2 plus 2 is equals to 4, right? Why we add, like why we need to learn grammar. For example, for English teachers, I would prefer to say this. We make them learn English. We make them learn grammar Why to make a learner learn like a robot? Everything has a logic, right? So when you are satisfying their logic, you are enhancing the logic skill, the reasoning skill, their curiosity, and their curiosity to ask a number of questions. They are young students, they will ask questions. Do not ever, lose your calm, lose your cool, specifically on the young learners. When they're sitting in an online mode with you, they do in the offline classrooms also. When you see the students moving in a corridor or in a classroom, they will make faces, they will turn their faces. If they are bored, they will not listen to you, they will not look at you, or they will feel irritated at times, or after 10 or 15 minutes their concentration will be shifted to something other, something more I would say eye-catching for them. So they will stop looking at the computer screen and look towards something else. Probably a parent had passed by. Probably, rain started happening outside. So that if the learner is sitting in front of the window, specifically a young learner will look outside of the window suddenly. Why it happens? Why the concentration level of that young child, of that young learner shifted from you towards something other? Because the learner is curious. When we are young, we want to explore everything. We want to know about everything. Why rain is wet? Why sky is blue? So you need to address the curiosity of the learner. Don't lose your cool. Okay, I have to finish my lecture in 25 minutes, right? I have to finish my lecture in 25 minutes. I have to address 15 students. What should I do? You need to do time management here. You already know the class is for about 25 minutes. You already know we have 15 students or we have 25 students in our class. So the content development should be as per the level of the learner age group, should be correlated, and you have to be so crisp. The word is crisp, that you have to deliver the content or a particular topic in that time frame. Now, again, what is more important thing is here, I've heard teachers saying that, in a classroom of, let's say, 20 students, and we have delivered our best, we had delivered a beautiful lecture in 25 minutes, but out of 20, few of the students, let's say 5 or 6 students, are unable to grasp what to do. So, of course, classify your batch. There are two types of learners: slow learners and fast learners. Someone's grasping power is quick, someone's grasping power is lesser than the other. Doesn't matter. You have 5 fingers in your hand. All fingers are not equal to one another. So stop comparing your learners. You can never compare your learner with one another, right? So it happens. Then classify your batch. Okay. If you need some more time, we'll provide you some more time. Provide them some extra class, because you have to give output of your teaching. A learning output should come. So you need some more time with those learners, right? So give them more time, give them more, uh, you know, um, relaxations. What is more important? You need to develop a lesson plan. When we talk about teaching our learners either online or offline, both mode, we require a planned lesson plan. Without a lesson plan, whether you are a teacher in a school, whether you are a teacher or a professor in a higher education, whether you are an online tutor, whether you are anybody, you need to plan your class. You need to do that. And that is how, when you're planning your class, you will be planning your, of course, lesson plan. You will be preparing it. That is what I told you. Research about, have knowledge about it, understand the psychology of the age group, develop content. That all comes under the category of planning of your lesson. When you're planning the lesson, for example, if you are going to teach them reading skill, I hope you understand my handwriting. I'm so sorry about it. I can write as much clear as I can. I try doing that. So let's understand, if we are planning our lesson here on reading skill. So these days, specifically, I'm focusing more on young learners of grade 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. What happens with them? They don't wish to read. Why? Why they don't wish to read? You need to ask why after every problem, why it is happening, why the learner is unable to complete the task. You're giving a homework online, you're giving a homework assignment offline. Why is he not able to do that? Is it there a problem with the understanding of the concept? You keep on scolding and shouting, and the child doesn't make it work. Is there anything that is hampering the progress or performance of the learner? To be very honest, to be very frank, I'm very emotional about my profession. I'm very passionate about my profession, whether we are in, in tutoring line, or whether we are in education, that all comprises one. So teaching and training are two different things. When you are addressing young learners, you are not only training them, but you are teaching them also. So when you're teaching them, it's important to understand why, right? So understand the psychology of why he's unable to do this, and address that why of your learner. Coming back to the topic of reading skill that we are talking about, for example, if your lesson is on reading skill, so what will you do about it? You will plan your lesson with some certain kind of activities. Every lesson can be planned with an activity, both online and offline. That means you can plan activities for the learners online also. You have to be more creative. You have to be more innovative for your learners, right? So 21st century skills are very important, right? What are those 21st century skills? To be more creative, number one. The more creative you can be with your learner, the more they're able to relate with you. And finally, I'm there are lot many things to tell you all, but I don't have that much of time. Of course, you cannot watch a long video as well. So I am, precisely finishing up this session as much as I can, and I hope it would be helpful for you all. So, I'm covering up as much as I can and sharing the tips and some little tricks with you all that you can inculcate in your classroom teachings. I was talking about activities. So, how to plan certain activities. You can pair the students in group, even in your online classrooms. Ask them more, questions. Give them more instruction. Ask feedback. See, feedback is important, and ask for ask for honest feedback from your learners. I'm sorry about this. Ask for honest feedback. Are you able to understand? Please tell me. Are you able to understand what I have taught you? Do you have any problem? Please share your problem with me. I will definitely find a solution for it. Some will say, ma'am, I did not understand it. You were going fast, you were going slow, etc., etc. So address, note, make a note of the problems of your learner. Keep a pen, pencil, or a notepad handy with you. Take the feedback. Okay, feedback is important. If you will not take the feedback of the student, how will you work along with them? And one more thing is, with your young learners, when you're teaching young students, young children, connecting with them emotionally is highly important. Their, you know, if their emotional health is good, if you're able to understand them, they're able to relate themselves with you, they will share things with you. And when they become emotionally connected with you, you are able to work like a team to get a best output from your learners. 95%, 98% results doesn't come, just by uh, filling them up with lots of content and making their life stressful. Teachers or tutors or educators, what I personally believe, are not meant to make the life of their learners stressful. Make their life happy, and that they're able to grow. So behind that, your homework as a teacher, as an educator, is extremely important. How much you are involved in your subject, how much knowledge you have about your subject. And if you don't know anything, if a, sometimes learner asks some sort of questions that teachers also don't know. So take a break, take time, research about it, and get back to them with a solution, with an answer. Do not stop your learner, in asking questions. So if you put all these things in your classrooms, either you are taking online sessions or offline sessions, I'm so sure that you will bring spectacular results in your teaching period or in your teaching career. This is how I have excelled. I hope what knowledge I had shared with you all. If there are any other questions for me, please leave those questions in our email. You can contact me, and I hope I've addressed the question rightly. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching and giving your time. If you liked what I shared today, please leave your feedback for me, so I can also improvise. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye bye and take care.